How do you increase low back strength? Most people think they need to isolate the muscles with back extensions or Jefferson curls or round the back during a deadlift, or extend the back at the top of a deadlift. And unfortunately, there's not a great deal of truth in those if you are coming from the perspective of the physiology and the function of the lower back. So what we're going to do in today's tutorial is start discussing about that physiology and function of the lower back, and then looking at different types of exercises that are going to get you a stronger lower back. If you are struggling with lower back pain and you want some help, just click the link below, go through to my How to Overcome Lower Back Pain online consultation and coaching. And what we'll do is we'll dig deep into your lower back through two questionnaires, the consultation, and then what I'll be able to do is put together a rehab program for you, and then we can review that over the online support in the 2 coming weeks. First thing we're going to understand to be able to build the strength of the lower back is some fundamentals, and I've sort of put them in these 5 bullet points. It's not an exhaustive list, but it's a good place to start from. You may have seen this list before because I've gone through this in a little bit more detail in a previous video. So number 1, they are posture and stability muscles. So they don't work like a bicep, which is there to sort of bend the elbow. They don't work like a quadricep, which is there to extend the knee. They're there to stabilize and basically maintain position of the lumbar vertebra, which then turns into the lumbar part of the spine. So it's all about the posture and the stability of the lumbar spine. Number 2, they aren't flexion and extension muscles. So like a bicep, that is a flexion muscle. The tricep is an extension muscle. The quadriceps is an extension muscle, and the hamstrings is a flexion muscle. So they have these roles within the body. Now, the lower back and muscles of the spine don't work like the quadricep, and they don't work like the bicep. As I've mentioned, they work as a means of posture and stability. So they don't work with regards to flexion and extension. They can, and that is a secondary or a tertiary role of those muscles, but it's not a primary role of the muscles. The primary role is the posture and the stability. Number 3, they work well with other muscles and tissues. So when you've got a stronger back, that's because all the tissues around your lower back, above and below it, are working as one unit. If you are just isolating off lower back muscles and not integrating them into the greater core, then you're going to always have problems no matter how strong the muscles are, because the amount of people that I've come in that are very strong individuals and then tell me I've got a weak lower back, I need to make it stronger, it doesn't make any sense because you're already very strong. I've then got smaller people that come in that aren't as strong that again tell me that they've got a weak back and they need to have a stronger back. Well, how strong do they need it? Do they need it as strong as the strong person? Because the strong person has a weak back. So I'm trying to work out how they've got to that logical reason that they need a stronger back, because the weaker person has a weak back and the stronger person has a weak back. Just by strengthening the back muscles doesn't mean you've got a strong back. They need to be integrated together with the other muscles, with the lats above it, with the glutes below it, with the thoracolumbar fascia, with the QL, with the abdominal wall, with the obliques and the rectus abdominis, and all these different muscles need to be integrated to make that a strong lower back. So a strong lower back is a strong core, essentially. Number 4, they work better with movement. Movement has to be a part of the program, if you will, because as you move, muscles change how they work. If you move forward, lower back muscles come on. When you rise back upright, they start to switch themselves off and become a little bit more relaxed. They don't fully switch off, but they become more switched off. And what are suitable exercises? So that's what we're going to look at in these next few slides. As it says there, what is a suitable exercises, but it should be what are suitable exercises. So the first part of this, and this doesn't mean it's a linear thing, so you have to build the core exercises first and then the next and then the next. You can do this all together, but you just have to be able to manage it properly. But the first part in any low back strengthening type of program needs to include core exercises like the following. Because what we are doing here, we are building up the muscles of the lower back. We are building up the muscles on the anterior structures of the core. We're building up the musculature on the lateral parts of the core, and then we're building up a little bit more isolating on the glute muscles. So what we're starting to do here is integrate all these muscles together using these different postures and positions. Now that doesn't mean they've got to stay there and you've got to do them all the time. Once we get to a certain level and the muscles are stable enough, strong enough, have enough endurance, then we can start to build in and add in more movement, and we can readdress the balance. We may start here quite a lot, so we may do a lot of this early on, but then as the program builds, it starts to fade out and we do less of this and more of what we're going to talk about next. Secondly, we've got to keep the glutes working and we've got to keep them stable because they are the platform for the lower back and for the core itself. So we've got things like this lateral stepping type of exercise. So you can see feet together, feet apart with a band around my feet. Now what I'm not trying to do here is I'm not trying to work these muscles in that flexion and extension cycle. What I want from these muscles is as my foot comes off the floor, I want them to switch on here. Then as I push this leg, I want to push from this foot as well, so I get both the sides working. So it's not just about going and doing a bunch of reps and feeling the burn in your hips. It's about getting the muscles to time at the right time, which is how you do the exercise. So lots of people I see doing this exercise, but are they doing this exercise? Are they doing it properly? Because if you're not getting the stability because you're moving your foot too quick, because the muscles can't switch on quick enough, then what you need to do is peel your foot up. So what you find then is the muscles slowly come on, and then as you pick up, they're ready to go. So it's understanding that. So not only have you got to do the exercises, you've got to do them properly. Which then brings me to this one, which is the monster walk, which again, the band is around the foot, but this time I'm stepping forward, and then with this foot, I step forward, then with this foot, I step forward. Now again, I'm not just looking to rep out, because if you take a bird's eye view of my feet, which we'll just put here as two little blocks, when I step forward with this foot, I want it to step forward straight. What I don't want to happen is because my muscles don't time properly, what I don't want to happen is there to be any sort of kick in and then I bring the foot back out again. So it's that type of movement I want to try and avoid, and I want to go up, 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 like so. So again, it's not just about doing the exercise, it's about doing it correctly and making sure you're getting the muscles up here to time properly. So here we're getting them to switch on properly by lifting it up slowly. Here we're getting them to do their job, which is to maintain the position and not flick inwards, because when they flick in, they're not timing and then we push them out so that we are timing. What we want, if we can go in a straight line, then they are timing properly. And then finally, we've got big glute max on the back, which I'm just using a weighted hip thrust to go up and back down. If I wanted to, I could add a band around my knees, push out, get glute medius, glute minimus working as well. So we can bring all this together. So we've got some core exercises. Then we've got, although these are kind of core exercises, they're more glute exercises. But these two work together to build up that whole unit of the glutes and then up into the torso. And then finally, we want to add a movement component to it. So you've got me here doing what would be described as like a conventional deadlift and then sort of a single leg deadlift as well. But what we've also got in here are good mornings, because again, we're maintaining the neutral posture all through. Good mornings is just essentially me with a bar across my back there. The position doesn't change. Position of the spine doesn't change. The only thing is the way the weight is distributed. Obviously, the weight is down here. The weight is down here for these two. But in a good morning, the weight is up and across the back. But there needs to be that movement element to it. We could have some sort of side lunge. So I've got straight leg at the back and then again sort of coming forward and down. So I've got, again, the same position, just in this wide stance. So I'm building up the frontal plane. So moving from side to side. Here I'm building the sagittal plane, moving backwards and forwards. Then we could add some chopping and rotating in with a reverse chop or a chopping exercise. So how we build lower back strength is not through flexion and extension exercises like the lower back muscles, because with all of these exercises that we've talked about, the core exercises, the glute exercises, and these posterior chain exercises, what we're doing is trying to get the muscles functioning properly and then integrating them all together. When we can do that, the back will become strong automatically. If you think you've got a strong core but not a lower back, you haven't got a strong core, because the lower back is a part of the core. I could continue that conversation, but essentially that's what we need to build on, is we need to build on building the whole unit, because when the whole unit is strong, the whole unit is strong, which includes the lower back. So if you're a strong person with a weak lower back, you haven't got a strong unit. If you're a weak person with a weak lower back, you haven't got a strong unit. So we need to get the whole unit strong before the lower back can become strong anyway. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed the content, leave a comment below. Please click the like and subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you'll be notified when the next tutorial is available. And then finally, if you are struggling with lower back pain, click the link below, go through to my how to overcome lower back pain online consultation and coaching, and we'll get you on the road to recovery.